Oh, it totally does with me too. You know what? You know what really well, okay, it doesn't necessarily rub me the wrong way. Like, it's their stuff. I guess they can do whatever they want with it. But if they're doing a pre-order beta, like, okay, so if you're doing a beta in general, how I would be thinking about the beta is, okay, I'm really proud of this product that we're working on, and so I'm going to release this to the public. And if I give it to everyone for free for a little while, that could generate a ton of hype if it's really good. And getting that hype right before it releases is fantastic, especially if they're like seeing the product firsthand. But if I don't believe in my game, then I'm going to charge for it. And I wonder if maybe that's what's up.
I definitely think it works better on yearly releases or games that have periodic releases, like Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah.
Like series that already have followings. Because if a game like Factorio years ago was to be like, so you get access to the beta if you, or the demo if you get the pre-order or something. You pre-order it because it's not out yet, and you get access to the demo. That's weird because no one knows who the developers are. It's the first game and everything. Like, no one's gonna do that. So they released.
I just got age blocked. I just got age blocked out of the Outriders demo. They asked me my age, and I said I was born in 1922. Oh crap!
Wait, what? That's funny because
I was trying to look.
Wait. What? Where did you put in that age?
On features, there's a whole bunch of videos.
Oh, I literally put in January 1st, 1921, which is the earliest you can go, and they were like, "Oh, okay, this guy's legit."
What? What on earth is happening? That makes no
I
sense.
actually tried to put in 1888 because those were just like the first numbers I typed, and they're like, it has to be at least 1921 or later, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do 1921.
I'm not going to video to watch your gameplay.
Just go to their channel.
Or I'm not going to YouTube.
Go to their YouTube if you want to watch their lame ass cinematic trailers that don't tell you literally anything.
But they're pretty. You don't like them for like miniature movies? I always like them for that.
No.
Have you ever had a day where you just like watch trailers for a while, just like an hour or two?
Because most of the time,
I guess I'll just watch.
Sorry. Because most of the time I'm like, well, I'd much rather play the game because it's going to be infinitely more fun than watching trailers.
I mean, okay, so I agree with you on it and everything. I guess it probably comes from me liking games like like Final Fantasy is probably a good one. Like, I play a lot of games for the story. Like, I really do just enjoy the cinematics of it. So it feels like watching a movie trailer for me whenever they release those. It does not tell you anything about the game, and I've gotten really good about not getting hyped about a game because of a trailer, especially because if it's super cinematic, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be a Diablo knockoff. Like, that's the first place my mind always goes to. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the most boring looking game.
Wait, hang on, Diablo knockoff? I don't know why your mind goes to Diablo of all games.
Because every time I get like the last couple like amazing trailers I've seen have been for Diablo 4. They released some very good trailers. Like, they were just cinematics, but they were really cool looking cinematics. And it's happened with a couple games in the past. But yeah, I don't know, just that like, top down controlling characters. Like Marvel's Ultimate Alliance was another like, top down action game. I can't stand those games, and it takes a lot for me to ever even like barely get into one. But I don't know, that's just where my mind always goes. I assume that's going to be the game when they show me like an amazing trailer. Or a fighting game, I guess. They do a lot of those with fighting games.
Yeah, I just basically expect them to never be entirely honest. And like they're always going to leave some stuff out because they want you to buy it to experience it for yourself. So it's like, kind of what's the point? Let me just like look up someone actually playing the game, and then I'll make my decision from there. It's kind of the same. You know how I've been kind of weird about movie trailers recently too. It's kind of been more like, why bother watching the trailer? Before. I'd much rather just, hear maybe a little bit of the plot and then decide if I want to see it or not, instead of watching it all get spoiled in the trailer, or, getting all the jokes in the trailer that are in the movie.
By the way, I really want to watch Tenet with you. I'm so curious to see your reaction.
Honestly, it's probably a movie that I'm going to end up just downloading one night because I'm bored. That usually happens on the weekends, especially when no one's on playing video games. I'll just get like in that weird mood where it's like you go through your Steam library 100 times, you don't want to play anything. You go through YouTube, there's nothing to watch there. You try to pull up some work and you just can't work because you don't feel like it. So honestly, that seems like kind of the kind of night where I would watch that.
I'm hoping to get it going in our friend's Discord server. I'd really love a night with that. Just because it's the kind of movie it looks really good, but it's like maddeningly frustrating to watch. Because whole time.
Why?
What? Because I've never thought so many times in a movie, like I'm paying full attention to it. I'm looking straight at the screen. I'm making sure I've got no distractions. And I thought at least 20 or 30 times in that movie, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't understand what's going on.
That's like the worst thing to do is watch it over Discord then, especially for my first experience.
No. That's I don't think you'll. I don't know. I thought it was a really bad movie, but it wasn't
like
bad
the kind of movie
because
I'd want to watch like with headphones on by myself. Then,
I mean, you can. It like the movie felt like a fever dream to me. It was just really cool. It was just
perfect. Like I mean, you're literally just reinforcing my idea that I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like something much better to watch by myself.
Sure,
So.
I mean, go off and watch it on your own. I'm watching it with a group of people, but like it's so weird. Like the whole movie was just like. It apparently made sense. I'm sure if I read the script, I would understand how each thing was how the whole thing was moving. But like it just seemed like a whole bunch of sequences of like random action things like happening in a row. Like, okay, they're on a beach now, they're in a bank now, all of a sudden they're on the freeway. No, they're back at the bank now. Now everything's running in reverse in the bank. It was weird. Like the whole movie was. I don't know. It was really frustrating to keep straight in your head. It looked cool though. It looked very cool. The first like 10 minutes of that movie were a good movie in and of itself. Like I wish they just stopped after 10 minutes. Would have been fantastic.
Then it's not a movie.
Movies can be 10 minutes. How long does a movie need to be a movie?
That's like a short film at most.
Okay.
That's like an appetizer.
I mean, I guess so. I don't think I'd enjoy it any less for being a movie.
It's not the thing you're going to show in theaters. That's like what Pixar shows before you watch their movie.
Dude, I would love to see some movie studio try to do a 10-minute film in theaters. I'd love to see what that looks like.
God, I would not pay that much money for a ticket.
Someone needs to try it. Oh man, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of whatever that would be. I'm trying to think of what you could do to like. I don't know, like if you just structure it sounds honestly like a French thing, like a really avant-garde, like experimental film kind of thing. So maybe a film festival would be a better place for it. But I'd love to see them try to fit a whole movie's worth of stuff into 10 minutes.
I mean,
but like
some movies you could probably do that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like what I want is like just the whole movie to be just a guy walking down the sidewalk, but there's so many things happening around him. That your mind's constantly engaged trying to keep all of the story parts like locked inside of your head at the same time. And I want that to all come together in the end to, in some big like grand finale. I think if you did a 10-minute movie like that, you could charge that much. That'd be so cool.
But I could just go to YouTube and see all tons of short films that are 10 minutes.
I mean, you can't go to YouTube to see Frozen. You probably can actually, but you know what I mean? It would still be like a movie. Like
I would say you can't go to YouTube to find, your favorite actors in short films.
I would love to see a studio spend enough money to try to. I don't think they could do it. I don't think they could actually justify it. But I'd want to see them try to justify it, and be like, no, we spent like $80 million on this thing, so you need to see it. And you'd have to watch it and go like, oh, like that's. I don't know, like maybe they'd have 50 CGI dragons like having a giant fight above the guy's head and then a plane crashes in it. Like maybe it's just like a huge CGI budget they use for it or something. I'd love to see it. Oh man, that'd be fun. Sorry, we're going to do like a podcast or something, right? That's why we're here?
I was recording the whole time. I was hoping you would be too.
Oh, me too. Oh yeah, I am too. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to ruin the flow.
We have to cut all that out because it wasn't a food topic.
It was not a food topic. I have a food topic. Do you have a food topic?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we got us covered for this week. We gotta I don't know. We gotta make sure we have one. We can't record an episode without food topic.
It's just nothing interesting has been happening in my food life. I've been eating a lot of Hot Pockets though. For sure.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's funny because
Okay.
I went from never eating hot pockets, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm eating them like every day. I'm getting
It's
the ham and cheese ones because those are the best ones, I
oh.
think.
Okay. All right. Do you like those over the pepperoni pizza ones?
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially since I eat them as a kind of lunch. I don't know, just especially
Mhm.
since I get up so late, I don't. Fe- I'm just not a fan of like tomatoes in general, so the tomato
Mhm.
sauce doesn't sit as well with me either.
Okay,
I
that
think
makes
that's why.
sense. They used to sell this pack at Costco of half ham cheese, half pepperoni, which was my favorite thing in the world. Because ham and cheese, like it really does. It's amazing as like a breakfast item to grab really quick, and it was
Yeah,
cool to have like the breakfast one and the lunch one. It was really nice. Just held you over all day.
yeah, they do fill you up pretty well, but that's probably because they have like tons of sodium and fat in them. I'm sure,
Oh yeah,
but
that's what you got to do,
I
man.
don't look at the box.
Makes you too sad. Can't
I
do
mean,
that. You never look at the box.
yeah, no, I
Okay.
gotta eat my food without guilt.
Okay. I haven't thought about how I'm gonna present this food topic, so I'll try to do my best. So we were talking a while ago about KFC and rating KFC and Raising Cane's along with Chick-fil-A and
Oh, we're
trying to
back to
figure out which
chicken
one was on
again.
top. Oh, we're back to chicken, yeah.
This is
So I
becoming the
think
new hot dog.
oh totally. I think the way it landed was there was a Chick-fil-A on top and then Raising Cane's and then KFC. And first of all, I feel after the fact that that was really harsh to KFC. I had some afterwards, and I felt very bad for thinking that. There were some very
Mm,
sweet people working the drive-through, and it
you
came
could
out
say that
okay. I was like,
about
you know what?
McDonald's too, though, but they don't have good chicken.
Oh man, McDonald's. Ugh, I can't say that about McDonald's. I had McDonald's a few days ago, and I go there usually for breakfast items, and so I got a sausage biscuit. I don't know the last time you had a sausage biscuit, but like
It's been a
I
while.
think they're cutting more corners, it feels like. Maybe I'm just getting older and I'm realizing it now.
It-
But the sausage biscuit was like 90% water. And it felt like eating a sponge. It was
Water.
really yeah, I
Wait,
don't
what?
I don't know how else to it was like hydrogen. It was like they freeze dried the patties that they use for the sausage biscuits and then they just like boiled them in water to get them rehydrated. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, that actually might be exactly what they're doing. I don't know what the
I don't know.
process
I
is.
can't really comment. I've never free dried and then boiled foods, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what their problem is. But yeah, every time I eat that stuff, I'm like, this is not it doesn't taste like meat. It tastes like a sponge, like a like
are
a
you going
salty
to McDonald's
sponge.
though in hopes that you get good meat?
I'm hoping that it will be a moderately I don't know. Like I want a little bit of like actual like of a sausage patty. Like I know it's going to be a low quality sausage patty, but I'm hoping for a sausage patty. I'm not hoping or I didn't expect a sponge. Like I don't know. I didn't realize there was less that they could give you. If that
That is
makes
true.
sense.
You're like,
There's
well, McDonald's is already a pretty low bar. I didn't know they could lower it even more.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. It's pretty amazing how low they can lower it. But
Although,
yeah, it
if you
was
ever in
incredible.
need for just trash, McDonald's got you. I do like their I do like mixing their McDouble and their McChicken, which is like
Mhm.
the most simple chicken sandwich and the most simple double you could get.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's disgusting,
Oh
but I
yeah.
like it together.
My friends used to call that a McDank.
A McDank.
They
Yeah, I
would
think I've
they
heard
would
that
get a
before.
McDank. Yeah, just smash those suckers together. I never totally got it. By the way, that those spicy McChicken sandwiches, those were really spicy back in the day. I don't know if they still have that much spice, but I remember
Hmm.
them being hot when I was a kid.
I never
Like,
ate them because I was never a fan of spicy food. Still aren't really, so I probably would never
yeah.
order them. Even
Yeah, it's
Chick
a
Fil
little
A's spicy sandwich is like maybe a little too much because it's
mm,
not a flavorful spice.
oh,
It
I
doesn't
could
feel
see
like it's
that.
very flavorful. It's like, oh, here's the regular chicken sandwich, and then we just
Mhm.
made it spicy.
I
The
could see that.
spices aren't like tasty.
I've become a little okay, not really, but like a little bit of a hot sauce connoisseur lately, which
Oh
it's
no.
just interesting you bring that up. No, 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 not like a big thing, but
So
Emily,
wait, hang on.
what
Do you taste your hot sauces like you do your wines? You have to like
a little bit.
swish it
Like you
around a
have to open the
little and then like
bottle.
roll it around your mouth and
I'll tell you what, it's usually a dab on the pinky that you stick on your tongue, but I do taste it for a minute before I put it on anything. You gotta know exactly what you're getting, you know?
yeah, you gotta
Um,
see for how long it'll simmer and the
yeah.
works.
So Emily for Christmas, like last year or something, or this year, she got me this pack of hot sauces from Gordon Ramsay. Let me see if I can find all of the flavors of them. But she got me like 4 hot sauce flavors. And I mean, I'm sure you know Gordon Ramsay from like all of his YouTube videos and stuff. He's a very good chef.
Yeah.
And his hot sauces are really good. And I'm noticing I've never been a fan of like, okay, well that's not true. I used to douse everything in Tabasco, but like there's a level above Tabasco that I've never ever wanted to go towards. But this is starting to change my mind on it. Hold on, let's see. Hell's Kitchen sauce gift set. Oh, there's no picture. I need like a picture.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm usually Cholula is usually my limit. And I mentioned
I could see that.
I used to work with some Hispanic ladies, and I mentioned that I'm like, yeah, Cholula is probably my favorite. I'm not a fan of anything spicier, and they were just like, that's disgusting. You like that?
Yeah, Hispanic women can get kind of weird about it. I do agree with you. I love Cholula.
What the other one was though? There was this hot sauce they would bring that I really liked though. It was a little too spicy for me though, so I would put only a little, but it was really good. It was I can't remember the name. I'd have to see the bottle. I'd recognize the bottle. But
do you remember what the bottle kind of looked like? Can you describe it to me?
I think it was a white bottle with a red cap, and it had
what?
Yeah. No, well, like a white label, I should say, not a white bottle.
Oh, okay. I still can't place it, but yeah, I was like a white bottle. That's a fancy hot sauce. Okay, white bottle with a red cap. I don't know. Or a white label with a red cap.
I'm actually gonna Google this because.
Go for it.
Oh, what's that one? I think I see it in this picture. Tapatio. Tapatio.
Oh, you couldn't think of Tapatio? Yeah, it's Tapatio.
That's okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I remember there's some guy with a hat on it. Yeah, so that's really good, but that was a little more spicy than I'm usually a fan of.
I couldn't think of Tapatio.
I had never heard of it until they started bringing it to work. So.
Oh man, it's okay. I know you eat a lot of Mexican food now, so it's amazing that I don't know. It's astounding. I know you like to go out to like taco places and stuff when you hang out with the guys in North Park.
Well, I don't
like,
even
man,
get hot sauce though. I usually don't put hot sauce on anything because it always feels like it makes the food too runny and such.
Yeah, well, okay. So that's kind of you hit on a good point because I've started to change my mind on certain hot sauces because of that. If you get a really really mild hot sauce, then in order to like truly taste it, at least I feel this way, but I'm kind of crazy about my hot sauces. I'll douse whatever I have in like the mildest hot sauce I can find because I'll use it like a dipping sauce. Does that make sense? Like a dipping sauce with a slight zing to it.
Well, and you say that in order to taste it, you can taste it. It's just not giving you the same as much of a kick. Like
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But I've changed because of these Gordon Ramsay hot sauces. I got the flavors in front of me, by the way, but they're pretty spicy, so you really only want to put on a few drops to whatever you're eating. But it hits in like that perfect way. Okay, so here's the flavors. We got a sriracha hot sauce, a green chili hot sauce, which sounds like fine and everything. There's a whiskey habanero hot sauce, a chipotle chocolate, and then ghost pepper.
Yeah, those last two I'm gonna pass on.
Chipotle chocolate doesn't sound too bad. Chocolate's kind of a big thing in Hispanic culture, but
yeah, chocolate. I mean, you can get that like the pork with that kind of chocolate flavoring on it.
Yeah, the mole. Yeah.
There's
so I haven't had the chance to try all of these yet, but I opened up the whiskey habanero because it sounded the best, and oh my gosh, it's like my favorite hot sauce right now. It is so good.
So
it's absolutely incredible.
Oh, how's the whiskey come into play then?
You know, it does come into. It's hard for me to describe it because I haven't had it in I think like a week or so. So it's hard to describe. Maybe I don't know. I'll just bring the bottle the next time we do something. You can just try out a dab or something because it's super good. Yeah, it is, and it's not like. What's up?
Have you tried all of them so far?
Not yet. Pretty much just the whiskey habanero at the moment. I started with that one, and I was like, I don't want anything else. Like this is it. Oh man, that's not where I was going with this though. That was not a topic that I wanted to go on. Yeah, okay. So the chicken places. I don't know how spicy chicken sandwiches. That's what I got there. No, okay. So I've been trying out these different chicken places, and I found another one. I wanted to add one more to the list. That was my food topic.
Oh, really?
Um, so yeah,
I'm
so
interested.
so this one, oh yeah. So first of all, can you guess it from all of the actually, you know what? That's stupid. You'll probably be able to from all of our topics in here. So it's a restaurant called Jollibee's.
Oh, is
Now,
that what that is? Okay. I actually had no idea.
yes.
That's not what I
Yeah.
would have guessed.
Yep, Jolly or maybe Jollibee. Maybe it's Jollibee. Okay, so how do you feel about chicken? You like fried chicken, right?
I like fried chicken, yeah. Especially
Okay.
especially
How do
with
you
some douse it in cheese sauce. Oh,
Oh yeah, that's
so
pretty good.
delicious.
How about fried chicken with mashed potatoes?
That's the KFC staple, yeah.
Yeah. How about fried chicken with mashed potatoes and a burger patty? Not the burger, just the patty.
I like hamburger meat, yeah. I could be down with that.
Okay, cool. All right. How about a rice noodle shrimp dish along with that?
With fried chicken? Is this like something out of
Yeah.
Korea or
Eh?
I, I I'm confused.
And then, along with all of that, how about some spaghetti on the side?
All right, I think you're starting to take things too far, sir.
I think they did too. But yeah, no, it's this place called Jollibee's. So there's like okay, so it's down in where is it? Mira Mesa. Um it's down in Mira Mesa. They just opened one up and it leads into another story about it. By the way, I've got a PlayStation through a scalper and I have a whole bunch to say on that.
Oh boy.
But oh yeah. No, but I went down there and the place where we met up to make the trade was right next to this new place called Jollibee's. The line was longer than Chick-fil-A's. Like it was ridiculously long, and me and Emily just looked at it and went, "Oh my gosh, like we have to go try this. I don't know what it is, but we're going to try it." So I ended up spending a lot of money there because I wanted to try every single item on the menu.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well, like my sister was coming back from like a thing, so I was like, "Ah, I guess I can do this without, without crying about it too much." Um but yeah, so it's a place that sells just normal fried chicken. They sell it in a bucket like KFC. Okay, well first of all, I'll tell you where it's from. This is from
Okay.
the Philippines. It's a restaurant chain that popped out of the Philippines and has 4,500 locations at the moment.
Wait,
So it's
what?
doing pretty well for
4,000.
itself.
Wow.
4,000, yeah. From what I remember. Let me double check that number to make sure I'm
So I'm
correct on
assuming
that.
it's international then at this point.
I believe so. I mean, I guess it could be Filipinos in the US, but let's see. Jollibee's. Home of the famous Chicken Joy. God, how many locations? Tell me on your thing. Oh, they don't have it on here? Where did I see their locations before that? Maybe About Us? Okay, I'm not going to... Oh, 1,300 stores. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah,
4,500 is quite a bit.
that's huge, yeah. Okay, 37 stores in the U.S. right now and 1,300 stores global.
Oh wow, so not even that many in
Yeah.
the U.S.
Yeah, they're just starting here, which was kind of the weird thing. I don't think the people making the food, because they were Hispanic workers, I don't think they understand what the food should be, and so it tasted just a little bit off. But anyways,
Well, I mean that might
no,
be
it
the
was
fact
it
you're
was a
eating spaghetti with your fried chicken.
yeah.
So
So
I
the
mean it's
first
just a
thing
hunch.
the first thing I wanted to the first thing I wanted to mention about this place was that giant line.
Okay.
So I went there with the idea that this line meant that the food was fantastic or just interesting. Like there was something interesting about it. And boy was I right. But I don't think that's the reason that the line was long. That line, I clocked it. It took us 45 minutes to get like from ordering our food to like exiting and leaving and going back home.
Holy
It was a
cow.
really long time. Yeah, they're a super new restaurant. I think they've only been like in San Diego for like a month maybe a couple weeks. Like it just seems like they're super new to the whole thing, and that's the reason it was taking so long. But I ordered I was like, okay, I'd like some chicken. And they're like, okay. Oh, first of all, you should know they have a breakfast menu too, which is
Okay, that's pretty
amazing.
neat.
Yeah, but like I came at like 11, like 30, like right when they're doing like the switch.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'd like some chicken. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And I'd like some of like these handheld pies that they have too. And I was like, they're like, okay, that's great. And I was like, oh, and can I get a burger? And they went like, we're gonna need like 10, 15 more minutes for that. Like, is that okay? And so I like pulled over to the side, and they were just like rushing out. I kept having workers come out and be like, "We're so sorry, that's coming. It's coming. We promise it is." And then they ran back inside. They told me it was 10 minutes, and they actually brought it out in like 7. Like, it wasn't like a super long amount of time. Like they
That's
got it to me.
interesting. I wonder what's going on then. I wonder if like they hired someone who's just not really that qualified to run a restaurant. I don't know if like they just don't
Yeah.
have a lot of experienced workers there.
Dude, I really
Because
think it was just. Well, let me see when it opens. Sorry, keep
well,
talking.
because if it's that new of a restaurant in the area and they don't like there's a chance they might just have a bunch of unexperienced people running it, especially if the lines are that long. That means you're going to have to be working quick and some people just might not be used to that kind of job.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, it looks like it started back early December.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
so
So
it's been here for
yeah,
a little while.
definitely recent.
Yeah, they don't have an excuse. I wonder why the line was so long though. But anyways, um yeah, so that was the first thing was the line. So okay, so the chicken was actually okay. I I'd put it maybe above KFC, not maybe below K. I don't. It's around the KFC range. It's about that if you're looking for
I'm a
chicken. I
little
mean, it comes in a
disappointed
bucket.
now.
Like it's. Oh yeah, it's interesting. The rest of this place though was fascinating. Okay, so I guess I'll just start as like I can think of them. I'll start with the worst one. The worst item on the menu was the and it's probably just because I'm not Filipino, so this doesn't make any sense to me. But was the rice noodle shrimp dish? There's a particular name for it. I think it's called palabok. Let me see. Is that the right name? Palabok. Okay, it's palabok with an O at the end. So palabok is it's a noodle dish with like a I don't know how to explain what the toppings are. Like part of it, it's gonna have like a sliced egg. It's gonna have shrimp on the top of it. Like
Kind of
it
sounds like
looks
your
very it
typical
looks
ramen.
kind of yeah. Except the rice noodles make it a lot more like down to earth. The problem was
Down
the
to
stuff that
earth.
they stuck on top. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, wrong term. More American.
Gotcha.
Um, it tasted like bacon bits on top of it, and it wasn't bacon bits, and that was what kind of like I'm like I don't know exactly what they did. I believe they just like singed a certain like breadcrumb or something, but whatever it is, it just tasted like I was eating noodles with bacon bits, and I really don't like bacon bits. So that was just like my little thing
Oh,
against
really?
it.
You
I
don't
don't
like
know
bacon
how
bits?
like they're okay. I had them a lot growing up because my dad would always have like he liked them for salads. It was always a thing he would stick on salads.
Yeah, those are
But
they're
yeah,
great
no,
on
I
salads.
don't. Oh man, it doesn't taste like bacon to me. It just tastes like
Well, I mean,
fake
it doesn't.
bacon, like fakin'.
Like I understand that. To me, it doesn't taste like entirely like an actual thing of bacon is, but I mean, they're
Hmm.
still just kind of nice to snack on and everything too, though. Like I think if they
Yeah.
were to make something that's more crispy, I don't know. Maybe it is like
Mm,
kind of the soggy nature of bacon bits or whatever, but I still enjoy them quite a bit. I don't put them on my salads
that's good.
anymore because I'm not a fan of
Hmm.
the kind of more chewy-ish nature of them. I guess I don't like that on my
Hmm.
salads, but I definitely still snack on them out of the bag if I'm using them.
Okay. Well, maybe you should get some palabok then.
My sounds just like
Um.
something I might like. No, I'll get the spaghetti and
Okay.
fried chicken.
Okay. Okay. We'll go spaghetti next. So, so I didn't know that all I saw from that place because we just decided like, hey, let's go back to Mira Mesa, and we didn't get it when we picked up the PS4 or PS5, but we went back there the next day and we're like, you know what, this looked interesting. Let's go get some food from there. So I had no idea when I was in the line that they had spaghetti. I only found out about that when I got up to the window. But spaghetti is one of the main things on their window. Their restaurant is essentially chicken, spaghetti, and burgers. Like those are the things, or chicken sandwiches really, but burgers as well. Like those are the things that they sell. So
What a menu.
yeah, it was that's the thing where we're like, oh my gosh, we have to try this. Okay, so Emily had some. She had a very interesting way of putting it, and I'm not sure I totally agree, but how did she put it? What was the exact word? She said it's it tasted Hawaiian, like sweet. I think she called it like island spaghetti or something like that. I want to say paradise spaghetti, but I know that's not the word she used. And I'm thinking about that because there's this thing called a paradise cake. I don't know if you've ever had it before.
I
I
haven't
love
no.
paradise cakes. They're oh man, it's like a so what it is it's a 3-layer cake, and each layer is infused with the nectar of a different fruit. So it's like pineapple, kiwi, and
Oh,
like
so it's like
melon
just
or
different
something.
layers of fruity cake
Yeah,
then.
but then the icing in between is just a thick layer of whipped cream. Like it's incredible. It's like the lightest, like fruitiest thing in the world. I absolutely love paradise cakes.
That
But
does not
anyways,
sound like spaghetti.
no, yeah. So it was a sweet spaghetti. So Emily was like, this is not like normal spaghetti, but it's not bad. It's just like a man. What was the word? I'll say island spaghetti. That's as close as I can get to what she said. But you kind of get what I mean by that. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
do.
have like a like a sweetness to it and everything. So it's not bad. I just had a little bit more a little while ago, and it's like, well, this. And first of all, it's like drive-through food, so I can't judge it too well because like at some point it's just gonna taste like this is something you'd feed a little kid, but anyone older than 5 is going to notice something wrong with it. Um,
Maybe
but yeah,
it
it was
is
just
just
it was interesting.
something that gets lost in the difference in cultural food.
Oh, totally. I
If it
mean, the
is
Philippines is
does
a
come
big
from the
island nation.
Philippines, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
So it like makes sense. It was just interesting. You mean what?
no, I don't know if spaghetti is like a popular item over there. To me, I think it's of it
I
more as
I don't
a
know.
Western and even American dish. So I don't know
I
if
mean,
it's
I
like a
think it
big
might
thing
be
in the
Italian, but I
Philippines.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know it was so exported, but apparently they like it over there because it's on this menu, and I assume that means it's over there because it was right next to the palabok, so maybe it's just spaghetti and palabok every day for them. But anyways, so that one was like okay. Like I liked it a little bit. It wasn't anything we finished though. It was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I also got this thing. I don't remember what it's called. It was essentially like okay, so it was the burger patties. It was like just the burger patty, but what they did was they sold the burger patty as a patty with gravy and mushrooms on top.
Oh,
So it was
mushrooms.
like
Oh,
a
well, it's already
it
bad.
was like a really it was like a low cost like chicken fried steak kind of thing or like a like a piece of meatloaf that you like put a lot like very little effort into. Does that make sense?
I guess.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was actually a really good thing to have along with the mashed potatoes. By the way, just before I finish, because I want to tell you about that one next. The mashed potatoes were amazing. They were the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. They were incredible. I want to go
That
back
sounds
just
like
for
a
the
bit
mashed
of a
potatoes.
stretch.
They were so good. Oh my god, I don't even know how to explain it. It kind of I don't know. Emily took one, or no, I took a bite. It was so funny. I took a bite and I was sitting on the couch, and the moment that thing hit my tongue, I was like, Emily, stop what you're eating right now. I told her to put down the spaghetti. I was like, you have to put this down right now. You have to try this. And then her eyes just lit up, and she was like, this is the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. Like we had this weird life changing experience for these mashed potatoes. It was,
Your life
oh
was
man,
changed by mashed potatoes.
they
It's not
were,
a
dude,
sentence you
they're
hear
so
every day.
good. I didn't want to lead with them. I wanted to work up to them, but oh my gosh, they were amazing. That was just the weirdest thing. We everything at this restaurant, we were like, you know what? This actually isn't everything together sounded weird, and I was like, I don't think we'll like any of this. It seems kind of like a weird experiment that's going to go terribly wrong. Um, but those mashed potatoes, dude, oh my gosh, they changed things for us as we were eating.
So were
Anyways,
they
so that
like
was
light and
great.
fluffy? Were they like sweet? Why were they so good?
They weren't sweet. They were I don't know. Like it was kind of like I don't know. I don't know why they were good. Maybe they were just like laced with cocaine, and that's why like I'm just addicted to
Huh.
them now, and I just want to go back for them. They were definitely like you can taste them, and they're very distinct. Like I could definitely taste the difference between that and any other type of mashed potatoes. There was a distinction, but I only had a little bit because Emily devoured that thing the moment she got it. Like she wanted the whole thing, so I only had half of a bite before I gave it to her. So we'll have to ask her opinion later on it.
Or you just have to go back.
Oh oh man, I'm not sure I should. The one thing I can say is that they tasted like they had 8 billion calories in them, just like the most
Tons of
calories.
butter
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
probably lots of salt and
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, where was I? Oh right. Okay.
should
The
probably wrap this story up. This has been a pretty long story.
It's been a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh really? How long are we at right now?
We're
Just out of
at 30
curiosity.
minutes already.
Jeez, man.
We've been talking
Um,
about this one restaurant for like 20 minutes.
that was really good. Okay. Last thing they had was they were peach mango pies, and they were really good. So you know how McDonald's sells like those little pocket pies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that, but they don't bake the pies. They actually deep fry the whole thing.
Oh, okay, that sounds pretty
Um,
good. You had me at
yeah,
deep
and I
fry.
was like, this is. I've never thought of deep frying a pie before, and that doesn't make any sense to me as an American. But the moment these people did it, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes total sense. Why didn't we just deep fry these things before?
That
It was
phrase is funny
incredible.
though, because the joke is that Americans just want to deep fry everything,
Mm-hmm.
and
And we didn't think
pies
of
have been
doing
deep
that.
fried before. Like you could probably go to any sort of fair and find deep fried pies.
That's fair, actually. That's quite fair
But
because they kind of
it
taste
definitely
like
isn't
fair food a
something
little bit.
you would think you would find at a fast food place.
Yeah. Okay, so just to wrap this up and everything, their drink offerings were essentially Sierra Mist, Pepsi, and pineapple juice, which I loved. That pineapple juice was amazing. I didn't actually get the other ones. And then oh yeah, and then the whole thing together kind of made you feel bad about yourself afterwards, but I'm pretty sure it's just because it was fast food. But
Well, I mean, you did also eat quite a lot and a lot of
that's
variety
fair.
too.
I didn't actually yeah, I don't know. I made sure not to eat too much. Like we had a lot left over. But yeah, it was just this weird thing of like everything together didn't totally work. Like I could kind of see how like two items would work, but maybe I'm just not meant to order every single item on the menu.
Yeah,
That's
that might have
probably
been it.
yeah.
If you had maybe stuck with just ordered one thing for yourself and stuck with that instead of trying a little bit of everything, you probably
Yeah.
would have had a different experience.
Oh crap, I have to tell you about two more things. I won't make this a big thing. I'll just mention like a sentence on them. The burgers were the most basic burgers I've ever seen. It was a bun, the patty, and then a sauce on it. But it was like the perfect like kids burger. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna feed this to your 5-year old to shut them up. Um, and the other thing was the chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich was very good. It was an excellent piece of chicken. There was one thing against them though. Part of it was undercooked. I noticed it. I took it out of my mouth and I was like, this is definitely a little pink.
Ooh, yikes!
So yeah, that was a big thing against it. I want to go back there because I think it was just I think it was just like, I came at the wrong time and they seem very new and not sure what they're doing. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was a pretty big thing. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty big mark against you. Oh, okay, sorry. That's it for Jollibees. I just wanted to add that one to the list. If I find another chicken place, I will keep you updated and not buy as many things next time. So our topics are a little bit shorter. Oh, I love food topics.
That was
They're
a
my
lot of
favorite.
food topics.
Oh yeah. We have a lot to say about food. Food's a big one.
Food is good.
Oh
I'm
man.
hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm definitely looking forward to
Oh geez, I'm so
dinner after.
sorry. They
Well,
had
it's
dinner
fine
already.
because I showed up late, so and
Okay.
what I'm gonna make for dinner is gonna take me a while to eat, so
Gotcha,
I'm
gotcha.
just gonna have a nice big
All
salad.
right. So tell me about Zippos. You have Zippos up here.
That was
What's
kind
going
of
on
more
with
just a
Zippos?
filler topic for last podcast, and it didn't make it in. It's just I finally got
Mm-hmm.
around to ordering more fuel for my Zippo, and
Mm-hmm.
there's just tons of fun, dude. Like,
Do you use the Zippo for anything except like a fidget?
no, that's exactly what it is.
Hell yeah.
It's
I love
like
it.
I do sometimes carry it because in my jeans you have that convenient little pen pocket, like the inner pocket in your pocket.
The
I'm
little
like, oh,
pocket,
this
yeah.
actually fits the Zippo just right. So I'll carry it occasionally, but
Hmm.
yeah, I don't pull it
Not
out and
bad.
like fidget with it in public or anything. But I think Zippos are cool.
They are pretty
That's
cool.
basically all I wanted to say. It's just something I'd been doing recently.
I can't justify buying a Zippo for my. Okay, I have a Zippo somewhere. It's a plain Zippo though. It's very basic.
Yeah, mine is
And
too.
every time I go on the website, I'm like, "Oh, these Zippos are cool, but I'm not going to buy myself a lighter." You know what I mean? Like just online, it seems like getting a custom one seems like just I don't know. Can't
I
do
mean, I
it
just got a basic silver one off of Amazon. I don't know. I don't even remember why I bought it. I just remember probably thinking, "Oh, that's cool."
cuz they're cool, man.
Yeah, it's
I'll
the
get some more Zippo fuel some.
it's your iconic American product, you know?
Oh yeah, very iconic. Well, all right. You don't have too much to say on Zippos. Tell me about VR then. You got VR on here.
So I actually got to try VR then for the first time,
Oh,
and not
okay.
like Android whatever. It was actually I can't remember what headset he had, but
What did the controllers look like?
I don't know. I think they were probably the older. I really don't know. Now thinking about it, I can't tell you. But it wasn't the Valve one where it has the sensors that you
Like
put up
the
in the room. It was just all tracked by the headset.
yeah, it
So
was a I forgot the name for it. There's a certain. It's called. I think it's called inside out tracking. It's like a new type that everyone's trying to do right now. Anyways, tell me about it.
Yes,
How's your
to
experience?
bring costs down, they want to do it, but it really just does not work as well
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to be constantly losing track of your hands. Because you're going to
I
be
gotcha.
so for me when I was trying it, my hands were obviously you keep them kind of low, and if you're like looking up or something, the headset's going to lose track of your controllers. And
Mm-hmm.
another problem, and one of the reasons I was so excited to try VR is because as
Half
for
Life
those who
Alex.
aren't in the
Tell me
know,
Half Life.
I'm a half blind, so blind in my right eye. So I was hoping that VR like wouldn't be a disappointment, and it thankfully it wasn't. The part that's actually fun about VR is the incredibly precise head tracking and how
Mm-hmm.
well it tracks. So it was, I mean, for all intents and purposes, for me, it was basically the same experience. I was like
Nice.
leaning over this ledge and looking down is actually kind of cool. So, but
Nice.
so the one
Was this
thing though,
for? Oh, sorry.
so,
Finish your story. I got a couple questions.
no, well, back to the controllers real quick and how often they would sometimes lose track via the headset. I think maybe that was because I was since I had a much more limited field of view. I
Mm-hmm.
in general was kind of like turning my head a little more to try and like I don't know. I was doing like something weird to try and like look more natural, so the
Mm-hmm.
headset wouldn't lose track of the controllers as much. And I was also in a very limited space, so I had to be pretty aware of which way I was facing, so I wasn't gonna smack anything important. So
Hmm.
that was definitely the probably the worst part about it was being in such a small space. But yeah, no, 10 out of 10 of experience. I really enjoyed it. Finally got to play a little bit of Half-Life Alex.
Okay,
So
there we go. That's what I was gonna ask.
yeah, that was I tried
Perfect.
ping pong, but the game I just was unable to hit the ball.
Was
That
it was it like worth it? First of all, okay, I gotta know. I heard tell that there's no crowbar in Half Life Alex. Is that
I
true?
have no idea. I haven't played more than a couple hours.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I heard that and I was like, that's insane. So
Well,
I gotta know.
the crowbar is Gordon Freeman's. It's not Alex's.
I know, but it's Half Life. Like you gotta have like just like on the ground or something. I
Oh, I'm sure there's
okay.
like a nod to it somewhere,
There's gotta be. It's the crowbar.
but yeah, now I'm all just thinking, could I justify it? Could
Wow,
I
really
justify buying one? Because I
interesting.
really enjoyed my time with it. It's crazy though because it really once you take it off, I took it off and went out to the kitchen to get a drink, and it really
Hmm.
messed with my how where I thought everything was because it wasn't my
Depth perception.
headset and controller, so I was trying to be careful not to hit things because I didn't want to break
Hmm.
anything that wasn't
Yeah.
mine. But I was drinking the glass of water and I was realized I was being like careful not to bring it up too fast and like gently bring it to my lips because it
Hmm.
messed with kind of my spatial perception. It was weird.
Did you do
Going
that thing? Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
just going
Talk
from
too
VR
fast.
back to the real world was an odd experience.
Hmm. Did you do that thing that I don't know, it seems like people always do this with VR. Like it's a thing that your brain has to do where I don't know if you remember the moment you like put on the headset and like had your hands on the controllers for the first time. But did you bring up the controller and like twist it back and forth in your hand really quick just to see what your hand looked like and like how to move it?
No, I never
I
really
just
did because the one I started
really
with was ping
interesting.
pong. So let me go over the three
Okay.
games I did. I did ping pong and then I went to Super Hot VR and then I went
Okay.
to Half Life Alex. So the ping
Got it.
pong was really bad. The problem is that
Hmm.
there's no since I have no depth perception, there's nothing in the room that gives you perspective about like where things are. I wasn't sure
Hmm.
like how close am I actually to the table? How far away is the paddle? Where is the ball?
Mm.
Because it's just a pretty plain room. So I and the throwing of the ball was incredibly inconsistent. I could never get it to go straight up.
Oh, interesting.
So I had a really hard time with that and it wasn't as fun. But so then I switched to Super Hot and that was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one seems like your game.
Yeah, it's fun. I would say the worst part is when you have to melee people, because there's a couple times where you start, the game starts you out obviously a way easier. They don't give you guns right away, but the problem though
Mhm.
is if you have 3 people coming at you and you need to punch them all, it's kind of boring because what you're doing is you're just like holding your hand out, kind of wiggling it and moving a little so they come towards you. Then they hit your hand and they explode and all that. It's
Yeah, that's no
it was
good.
kind of like, oh, I'm just basically trying to get through this part so I can get to the next part.
Yeah, it's no good.
Um,
No good, no good.
and then I moved to
Hmm.
Half-Life Alyx, and that's obviously the most polished of all the games, and
Hmm.
well, the best presentation, I would say. And
Hmm.
that's when I had the weird hand moment when I looked down and my hands were there, and I'm like, oh, this is
How long
this
did
is
you
kind
play
of
the demo
cool.
for? Not demo. How long did you demo it for though?
I
The
played for
Half-Life Alyx specifically.
maybe like 2 hours tops.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I
So,
wonder how. Yeah, because I'm figuring you didn't spend as much time in the other one, so I wonder if it's just a matter of time before that kind of thing starts happening. Because I know
what's
people had
that
the same
thing?
feeling with It's just like the depth perception thing. Because I know that happened a lot with people with Guitar Hero too. Like they'd have like guitar vision afterwards, just because you're watching these lines just come at you for like 2 hours.
I mean, that's
It
a
just like.
pretty well known kind of effect. I would say the Tetris effect is also pretty similar,
Mm-hmm.
where you
Yep.
just can't stop thinking about Tetris after you play it.
I love Tetris. I just saw that again in my library. I'm thinking about downloading it again.
Oh no, don't do it.
It's so good, man. It's so
Don't do
good.
it. I'll never hear
Oh,
from you
cool.
again.
Well, I'm really glad you like the VR headset. I was curious as to whether or not you'd ever try Half-Life Alyx. Like it seemed kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I'll just like wait till someone comes out with a really good movie of the whole game.
No, it. I really like the Half-Life universe. I really like the world building they've done,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I didn't want to cheapen the experience. If so,
Yeah,
I wanted
that
to at
makes
least give
sense.
VR a try. If VR wasn't going to work for me, then I would have made compromises somewhere. But since it did, now I'm just like, oh, okay. So whenever I actually get to play it myself, if in full, then yeah, I'll just wait.
Yeah, I still feel like we're waiting for like a good reason to buy VR. Like I don't think it like okay, Half-Life Alyx is a reason. Um, but like would you use it after Half-Life Alyx? Sorry. I don't know if that's there yet, you know? Like I don't know if there's
I
enough stuff you
I
can do with it.
I think it is. I think you just have to
Yeah.
enjoy it because when I talked to Michael and he was he's like, yeah, I've tried it, but he didn't seem like he was as mind was as blown as mine was.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the person. For me, I think it's definitely worth it. And I think that you can definitely find enough experiences
Yeah.
to justify it. I mean, there's 2 main games I could think of, which are Half-Life Alyx, and then there's what was it? Not Hover Junkers. It was that one game, but
I don't know.
Boneworks. I don't know. It was a good like well fleshed out VR game,
Okay.
and it was a pretty popular one. And there's tons of
Hmm.
lists of VR games you can try. And so I think the fun of it is finding which games are good and why they're good because it is a new kind of medium.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
My favorite thing with it, the thing that I'm hoping like gets more steam, I really want like I know this exists. Like it's definitely out there, but in art sculpting studio, I know that they exist, but I want like a Photoshop level art sculpting studio program in there. For some reason, that appeals to me so much. Like I'd love to just spend time like just drawing.
Don't
I
they
don't know
have
that
programs? I'm pretty sure they do have
they have
programs like that.
there's a Google something or other, and then there's a whole bunch they tried to release for PlayStation, which didn't really go anywhere. I think Dreams would probably be the closest that you could get. Although Dreams is a weird.
That's probably what I'm
I don't.
thinking of.
Yeah, Dreams is that's a whole thing. Like it's a. I still don't know what to think about Dreams. I bought it and I haven't touched it other than like one time, and that one time was strange. But
Yeah,
cool.
I know one
I'm
cool
glad you
thing you
like.
can do is
Yep.
Blender now has.
Oh
Oh,
really?
yeah, you can go in and view your scenes through in VR.
Okay, see that's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
since
So
we're on the topic of this stuff, did you see the new thing that Microsoft is teasing right now?
No.
They just released like a thing for it a couple days ago. I don't remember what it's called, and it's not worth like looking up right now. But they're finally doing something with that Hololens they came out with a while ago. You remember like it was like the heads up display, or not the heads up display. It was
Yeah, I remember.
it was
Yeah.
yeah. So what they're doing is they're releasing this big software thing with it. I think they're coming out with a whole new headset for it. But the idea is to have it's a virtual meeting software. So the whole idea is two people put these on, and then you either get a virtual avatar or just the whole motion tracked person stuck into the room with the other person. Like it's a really cool. Like it's like, oh, of course that's the next thing that they do. But
Yeah, that doesn't
I'd never
sound
seen it before.
gimmicky at all.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
I
no.
know
It's
that
like
they've
a
still
big.
been kind of marketing it towards more enterprise use, but even that just
Yeah,
sounds ridiculously cheesy.
I don't know. You say that. I could see companies spending a good chunk of time on that. One problem that I've heard a lot of companies having right now is with the pandemic, it's not hard for people to do just the normal busy work that they've, been doing since they were like at their job, but collaboration's a really really tough thing to nail down because a lot of good ideas that happen in companies are usually happening like over lunch when people are eating together, and it's been hard to kind of rebuild those like social spaces and stuff for people to like actually come together and feel like they're with the other person enough for those good ideas to come out. So I could see some companies spending way too much money on these things for their
Yeah,
employees.
and
I think they'll sell at least a couple.
I definitely get that
Hmm?
aspect of it, but I I mean, considering how difficult it is for some companies to justify like any sort of budget into IT, I I don't
Hmm.
know. It really just does feel
I think it'll
gimmicky to me.
be.
I don't think it's ever
I
going
think
to
it'll
be a
be
good
that
enough
kind of.
replacement for that scenario you're describing, and I don't think
Hmm.
people would. I don't think it would help people enough get
Yeah,
back to that.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so like how it seems like no matter how you cut it, it would be a pretty okay scenario. Like, you go in, you click on the software, you put on the headset. At least I'm assuming. I'd hope that's what the case is. You'd probably have a big cable coming out of the back though. That would be a pretty big impedance to enjoying talking about stuff. I don't know. There's just some
But
interesting stuff.
what benefit does it give over something like a video call?
Well, it's probably so that several people could be there and look at something. I'm guessing that's kind of the big case. Like, let's say you're working for a car company and you have a 3D model of the car that you can show people, and you're like, this piece right here is the thing that we're talking about. This doesn't work, and this is what it looks like in it. Like, that's something you can't really get across on a Zoom call very well, unless like I don't know. I think you could do it
Just
in a janky way,
share
but
your screen, like
I know, but like I'm like in three-dimensional space, like using your hand gestures to be like, no, it should be like this, and we should do this with it, and it should pop like this, and I don't know. I could see it
well,
working.
I mean, so that sounds like it's trying to solve a problem that's not doesn't exist because of not meeting in person.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it sounds like it's trying to solve a problem that's more just has been around already.
it's something that I think would really normally appeal to international companies. That's where I could see it being used a lot, especially for like international meetings. In fact, actually, that might be a really big thing of it. Just like you could use it for international meetings as a state, as like a status symbol to be like, we have this cool thing that we can do, and we feel super sci-fi while we're having our meetings, and technically it adds some benefit to the meeting. You know what I mean? Like I could see them doing it, like a whole bunch of like Chinese organizations or maybe governments like using that to talk back and forth. I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be
But
interesting.
when I think of that kind of technology, I'm like, oh yeah, those Twitch streamers that do that, or motion capture from movies. Like it
Yeah,
to me, it has a pretty strictly entertainment connotation. So
yeah. I like bringing entertainment into the real world. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the really cool part about it is that you can see the other person through the headset. Like you're right. Like there's gonna be a million of the I don't know. Yeah, the VR streamers or whatever they're called. Like that's been around for a little while. But the idea of like actually seeing the other person in the room and trying to communicate with them like that, it is pretty fascinating. But they just anyways, they've had a whole big thing on it a little while ago, and they're trying to make that their next big thing. Oh, okay, man, that was like two topics, and I already feel like I guess three topics technically.
yeah, well, I don't
Oh
know
man.
if we're already almost an hour in, and I don't know if I want to go over quite everything here. I'm gonna Valheim we can talk about next time. Well, because I'm still gonna be playing the game, so
yeah, it's fair.
We're not quite done with everything yet.
Oh, you could have kept it on the list.
I'll put it back on there later.
Okay, gotcha. I'll do one more and then we could go to break. And then we'll come back for like one or two more.
Let's just go to break now, to be honest.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's already an hour long, so.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. How you doing?
Good.
Relaxed?
Yeah, pretty much. So there's this segmented speedrun of Half-Life 2 that was done 15 years ago, I think.
When you say segmented, do you mean like it's like a piecemeal speedrun, like they just did it in multiple portions?
Well, they did parts over and over again till they got it like optimized as much as possible instead of it all being in one. It actually really cool because it's always going to be better than the best like single segment, I guess, single segment run. So what they did for this one is, since it's 15 years old, for its anniversary they like redid it in 1080p 60 fps, because with Half-Life you can, or the source engine I should say, you can use demo files, so you can play back the gameplay. So they just obviously re-recorded all the demos and it's in a much better quality. So yeah, I just didn't having that on in the background. It's such a really nice thing to look at while I talk.
Nice. All right, you want to pick the next topic or should I?
Well, real quick for VR, something I forgot to mention is I almost did the classic, like thinking something that I was looking at is actually there in real life. Because there was one point where I needed to get over a wall and I was a little confused by what I was supposed to do. And I was trying to look over the wall to see if I was missing something, and I leaned a little too far and I was like, oh, I'm going to lose my balance. And I like tried to reach out to steady myself on the wall, and I realized, wait, it's not the case. It's not there.
That's awesome.
And I also did that again later when I had to crouch underneath something. I was trying to maybe look under it a little, and I lost my balance a little too again, and I put my hand out above me to try and steady myself on the wall, and I realized, oh wait, you did it again.
That's great. Did you ever play iToy as a kid?
Remember that? I don't think so.
So iToy was it was an AR game built for PlayStation. It was like a big deal because it was their first like camera AR thing that they'd ever released. It was super simple. Like all of the games were literally just like move your hand over here and do this. So you could do like a karate game, and you could do like a game where you're like washing a window, which was actually better than the karate game. That was amazing. It was so much fun. It's called Wishy Washy. Oh man, I gotta find speedruns of Wishy Washy online later.
Oh god, that sounds awful.
You know, my little sister went crazy for the karate game. She thought it was the most fun thing in the world, but she'd lose herself in it. So what she would do is she'd see a ninja coming on the side of the screen, and she'd punch it as hard as she could. But because she was so young, she didn't know her own strength, so she threw her whole body off camera, and she'd fall onto the ground. There was nothing around. She'd just throw a punch, and she would just go flying.
That's hilarious, dude.
Oh, dude, those are the kind of moments why I love that. Why I love that kind of stuff. Just such weird things when you're playing with your perception of reality.
Right.
Okay, I want to choose the next topic. I'll be fast with this, okay?
Okay.
Final Fantasy.
Oh,
you ready?
I was hoping you'd pick
go.
the PS5 and scalpers.
This one's a really quick one. That's why I picked it. Final Fantasy 7. Okay, so Final Fantasy 7 came out in like 20... No, not 20. What am I talking about? Like 1997 or something. I forgot exactly the first year. And when it came out, to its credit, like in order to soften the blow on this, they came out with a lot of spin-off games. There was a Final Fantasy game that was, it was about like the events that happened right afterwards. There was a prequel game. There was a game that was like a spin-off story. They did all of these things because it was so popular. It was really big on the PlayStation 2. There's a couple games on PS2 that was big, and it launched a movie. So that's fine and everything. They came out with the remake, and they're doing they're being mean. And I don't know, like at least I feel like it's mean. And it's like they're like holding a treat in front of me but not giving it. So I'm really into the story of Final Fantasy 7 and I want to play it again. But the remake, and I think you know this about it, the remake is only like the first 10% of the game.
Yeah, you were talking about it on the podcast before. Was it 10%? Because I think you said like the first quarter or third of the game.
It's probably less than 10% actually.
Really?
Just
'Cause
like
it took
okay,
you
so
a long time to finish it. You said
it's hard to well yeah, that's the thing. No, but it's a it's hard to say because it's a JRPG. So like okay, is it 10% of the game in terms of time? Because a lot of those times are just like random battle encounters you're seeing like in the field. Like I'm not sure that counts. But what I can say it's like the first section of the game and it mostly takes up the first disc, which is probably the reason why I said it's the first third of the game.
gotcha.
Everyone who plays it though, I don't think anyone would think of that as the first third because that's more like the first like fifth or 10th of the game, which is why I said 10%. Because it's all
Gotcha.
taking place in this one city, and a lot of the data is a lot of cutscenes and stuff that tell the story more. Like it's more of the stuff to like set up the whole story that you're going to be playing as. So like
Okay.
there's a large chemical explosion and power plants and stuff that they have to animate. Um Anyways, what they did was they took that first section of the game and they expanded it out to add a whole bunch of more stories to it, add a whole bunch of more characters, and do these different things. And it was like fine. I didn't like a couple of the directions they took, but we're not talking about Final Fantasy VII remake. What they just announced was three different things, and I'm not sure that I'm super happy with it. So the first one is they released the next expansion pack for Final Fantasy VII remake, but it's not the next section of the game. They're pulling
Wait,
like
what?
some weird Square Enix crap. Well, it's the people who like messed up Kingdom Hearts. Like this is that group. So they took the first section and they're adding a huge DLC pack that's just like 4 or 5 more stories from that beginning of the game that were never actually in the original game. It was just a whole bunch of characters. It's like, oh, you remember how you met them over on the other side of the planet? Well, turns out they were in the same city with you at the same time, and here's it's just
What?
I was like,
Okay.
okay, yeah, I was like, all
I
right,
was already
fine.
thinking it was dumb that they were like, so we remember that one game we released as one complete game back in the day? Well, here, we're going to chop it up and release it to you in pieces now.
Well,
That already
like
didn't
okay,
sit
to
well
be
with me, so now it's kind of like, really?
I mean, okay, to be fair, they are making these things large experiences. There's a ton of stuff to do in them. Like it's not like they are just giving you that first 10% of the game. It's not like a tech demo. Like it really is a
But
whole thing. It's just
isn't it
the
more or
way they're
less just
doing it is
what the original game was? I mean, I know they've changed some
oh
things, but
oh man, it's pretty different. It's like a whole new. It's got the same basic plot, I think, but they're changing a lot to it. So we'll see what it actually is at the end. Like I don't. I'm worried that this is because it's already teetering on the. Okay, so where I'm going with this is they announced 2 other games along with this that are already spin-offs of the thing they haven't finished making yet. Which I'm really upset about. But before I say
jeez.
anything on those, it's just like yeah, I don't. It's getting dangerously close to that Kingdom Hearts territory of like we're gonna take something you love, we're going to add 5,000 more characters, a ton of more plot. None of it makes sense. It's just this weird soap opera with starships and stuff that I don't know. It like at the end, like none of it makes sense. It's just like this big pile of mud that you're left
Yeah,
with because
that
they
is kind
added
of
too
what it
much to
sounds
it.
like.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried that it's going into. But okay, so they released 2 more. I won't say much on this because I don't really care. One of them is Ever Crisis. It's releasing in 2022. It's supposed to be it's like an expansion thing, or it's like a sequel game, but it's not. Honestly, I think it's a mobile game. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a mobile game from the way it looks. So they're releasing a sequel to the thing that they have not finished that is a mobile game. But that's not the worst thing. So the worst thing they did, and the reason I wanted to add this, is because before they released that, this year they're releasing it. They're releasing a battle royale with Final Fantasy VII characters on mobile. And I just
Ew. That's a lot of buzzwords I don't like.
yeah, I don't. I don't know what they're doing, man. It's frustrating because I'm like, okay, I kind of understand where they're going with this, which is they like money, and I like money too. And if I was them and I owned, like, I'm not, I mean, just be honest with yourself. Like, if you have this franchise that you're like, okay, listen, we already kind of released what all the fans are always going to say, like, oh, that's the best version. The original is the most amazing. It's like, okay, cool. So let's stop trying to be that. Here's this thing we can make money off of because of the name. Why not go with the most pandery thing possible? I kind of get it, but it's super sleazy and, ugh, man.
Well, another game I'm never gonna play.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny because
Grab
that
'em.
game we were just talking about, were Outriders. When I
Mm-hmm.
saw the name Square Enix on it, I was thinking, huh, nah, don't know if I really want to play that.
What I'm trying to think of like the different Square Enix games that you would like because I know they have a ton that you'd like. Which
Well,
ones are they? I gotta
also
see their
it's a full
offerings again.
$60 game, and I already bought my one full day one $60 game for the year, so
Oh man, I think
that's
I've
not
already
something
hit
I
like
try to do
three.
very often. Because
I've had a very expensive month.
I'm definitely going to be able to just get that game in for $30 in a year, maybe 40, depends on the
Oh,
company.
Outriders.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
of course it depends on who's going to be playing it and all. I might end
Yeah.
up picking it up because I think it's a 1 to 3 player co-op,
Mm-hmm.
so I might pick it up if a couple other friends do.
I can see that. Okay. Do you want me to tell you about the scalping now?
Yeah,
The recon.
I wanna know why you're
Okay.
encouraging bad practices.
Okay. All right. So you know that I've been looking for a PlayStation 5 for a while. It's been
Yeah.
5 months, I think, something like that. Um,
A
it's
while.
been quite a while that I've been looking for these things. So it didn't really come to a head a couple days ago. It was more that I just got like annoyed enough. So oh, I accidentally closed the page that I was playing around with. Um, it's okay. So there was a couple things that happened all at once. First of all, I had a really bad week. I was just kind of stressed out and I needed some kind of relief, and I was just getting angry that I couldn't find this thing.
So
Um,
your relief was spending money?
I mean, well, the relief was getting the PS5. Honestly,
Okay.
like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if you know this. I've had the money set aside for a PS5 for like the last like year. Like I knew it was coming out and I immediately started saving. So I had a big
Yeah,
chunk that's
I
just been
figured as
sitting.
much. Because
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
been
yeah.
talking
So,
about wanting one for a long time now.
oh yeah. Well, it's PlayStation. That's my thing, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
just a PlayStation fanboy. Like it's not even like I'm like super hyped and is like, "Oh man, I'm going to do all the PlayStation stuff." I'm just like, "Yeah, that's the thing I get." Like it's just
It's the next thing.
it's just yeah, it's the next thing. Why am I not going to get this? So anyways, it's so I was kind of feeling that and I was having a bad week. Emily's been exceedingly upset by it because she first of all, she feels bad that I don't have one because for Christmas, she has this really good friend and she was like, "Hey, listen, I'd really like to get her like a PlayStation for Christmas. Can you help me find one?" And I was like, "Actually, why don't you just give her my really good PlayStation Pro and I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 in like a month or like a week or something. Like I assume I could get one pretty fast cuz I'm pretty quick on the draw with those things normally. Like with every other console it's been fine."
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so I was like, yeah, just go ahead and give it. So she's been feeling guilty and has been checking every single day, and she's getting really well, not anymore, like she's done with it now, but she was getting really, really annoyed at the whole searching process because it was like every single day you'd log on, you'd find out exactly when Walmart was stocking, the page would open up, and within less than like 3 seconds, it would be sold out. And she was just like livid about this. We were all livid, and it was this thing where you're like, man, like PlayStation's really trying hard to get these consoles to players, and none of the shops seem to care at all. Like there's no care coming from any shop. Like I
I
kind of hope
mean,
that PlayStation
it
what
I'm sure there are a lot of not scalpels,
scalpers.
a lot of scalpers. But at the same time, there's also a lot of people in the exact same scenario as you. So you probably are losing to like people like them too, I would imagine, right?
I would assume so, but I can't imagine this happening by anything except for bots. This really was I would be on the page the moments before it happened, and this has gone on for months. And the moment that page opens up, they're gone. It can only be bots. So there's probably good people just like looking for a console for themselves. But they're using bots. anyways, I mean, I'm sure there's cases where that's not the case. I know that there's some locations that were trying to be like, hey, listen, how about you know, you have to, you know, press the I'm not a robot button, and then you have to agree to drive to our store to pick them up. Like they were trying to put in all of these different checks and balances. But every single time I tried, and I tried a lot over the past couple months, I have several trackers on my phone that would send me updates the moment a store page was going to open up. I was never able to get them, and I was clicking the moment that thing opened. But anyways, that's too much info. So so Emily's been getting really upset by this because she feels guilty about me not having one, and she's been really just wanting to do this so that it's a weight off her back, because she has the money too. Like I was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna lose this, so please just keep all the cash that I've been saving for a PlayStation and just, you know, just spend it on me. Like just pretend it's a Christmas present to myself, and just do it, and you can feel great about it. So she's been wanting to, and so she's been really annoyed by it. But the other thing is that another, not a family member, but someone really close to our family, they just had a death in their family, and so they were having a very, very bad week. So I talked to a mutual friend, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and get a second one of these, because I know that they were trying to get one anyways for this person, for this guy. And I was like, hey, listen, how about I just grab a second one? You can just pay me the difference and stuff, and we'll do it that way, and I'll get a better price because I'm getting two at the same time. So I started looking for that, and within like an hour, I was able to find a couple of PlayStations. So so I drive to Jollibee's, and I met up with this guy. He was a really cool guy too. We haggled a little bit. He talked me up. I talked him down a little bit, and
He talked you up. Oh my gosh, dude. So okay, so I'm curious then. What
we haggled. I mean, we were debating the price. He wasn't.
So I'm really interested to know then what was the price, because they're going for 500 right now retail, from what I understand.
Price was $680 per console.
Oof.
It's a premium on it, but like, okay, so let me finish my thing. So
okay.
So yeah, so originally I think it was like $850, and we went back and forth on it. But anyways, so I met this guy with Emily. I brought her along. We talked about Jollibees and stuff, and we met at this nice park. So I really liked this guy. His name was Mark. He was I don't think he was a single dad. I think he had a wife, but he had like a 2-year-old kid at home. His mother was in the car with him because he takes her to office appointments and everything. And he actually wanted to chat for a while, because it took a minute for me to like get my phone out and like, you know, do the transaction properly, because he didn't want cash. He wanted like a Zelle thing.
Gotcha.
Zelle's the way all transactions are done now.
Wait, what?
But
hang on. What is Zelle?
Zelle's it's like a really secure Venmo that Wells Fargo offers. I think there's a couple other banks that do it. But it's just, if you open like the Wells Fargo app, there's a section on it for this new product called Zelle, which is just, it's a way of exchanging money that's hyper secure.
How is it more secure than? I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but how is it more secure than Venmo?
I don't know. I just know that that's the thing that the bank's trying to use. It's possible that they just would prefer Venmo not to take all of their business.
Yeah,
like
it's probably something along that lines where they don't want.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, because
it's just a thing that they bought.
I feel like it was not that long ago when I heard about Venmo, which is how everyone's transferring money, and then now you're telling me, oh yeah, now people want it some other way.
Yeah, it took a while for people to catch up to PayPal. It's fascinating.
Right? It was dominant.
PayPal was the only one for a very long time. Yeah. Anyways, so I was talking to this guy, and I was asking him about all this stuff and everything, and he was like, oh, so like why first of all, he wanted to know like, why are you buying two? Like, I've never seen someone buy two PlayStations at the same time. Like, this is new for me. And I was like, well, and I explained to him like, yeah, like a mutual friend like went over, you know, has gone through some heartache in their family and stuff, and it's kind of a gift for them, one of them. And then I've been meaning to get one for myself. And he was like, oh, okay, that makes sense and stuff. And I was talking to him about his kid too, and I was like, yeah, so like, what's your, you know, where do you live, and what do you how's your family and stuff? And he was like, well, I live like right around the corner. And I don't, he's like, I love PlayStation, which is kind of the reason I was drawn to these products, but I get no time to play them anymore because I have a 2-year-old. And so it's been a great way for me to just be able to support my 2-year-old. Like this right here it's a whole bunch of, I forgot what he was getting for his kid, but there was something that he was planning on getting for his kid with the money. And I was like, oh, okay. So overall, the price I paid, first of all, this guy brought his mom, and I was like, okay, that is
a little
man,
interesting.
like, if anything went wrong, that's like a big, like, okay, I'm sure it's to like make sure that people like know, like, hey, listen, I'm not here, like, please don't start anything. This would be weird if you started something. But at the same time, that's also pretty, yeah, it's just, it was just that kind of thing where I'm like, man, this is a real guy. Like, he's a normal person. And I kept thinking, like, man, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing in his situation. There's nothing like illegal or morally wrong. It's just like something that it's just something that the community really looks down on, and I understand why they look down on it. It's a bad practice for like, people lose money when this happens, and scalpers are able to just take some of that money up. It's like ticket scalping. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I felt for this guy a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I don't mind that I'm paying you a little bit, because it was, what was that, an extra $180 per PlayStation.
Yeah,
I was like,
around.
okay, so yeah, first of all, you're doing the legwork to get there first, and I'm like, okay, you won, like, you got the bots working properly, you won that battle, like, you got that thing first, but you're taking the time to do this, and you're taking a big risk, meeting a whole bunch of these kind of people who, first of all, are probably pissed at you for being a scalper, um, and there's a little bit of a possibility of physical harm. I don't know. At the end of it, I was like, I feel really good about this purchase, like. I don't know. He was a real guy. Like, it was the nicest scalping experience possible. I would not have felt that way if this turned out to just be some snot-nosed 18-year-old kid who just wanted a quick buck. But it wasn't that. It was a nice scalping experience.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm glad it was nice for you. I don't know.
yeah, no, I totally get it. Like, it's not anything that I would recommend people doing. I still feel a little bit dirty about it. And like, I was just so fed up at that point. But yeah, but it was a nice, like, genuine, conversation between a normal human and stuff who's going through their own things, and he has a kid at home. I'm like, oh well, I'll give you the money for the kid. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I know. I felt the same way. It's like, yeah, I don't have anything to say on it. It's the way it is.
The way it works.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I know we're coming to the end here. I'm not going to talk about Homescapes. It's a mobile game that's very fascinating, which we can talk about later if you want. Starlink, I know that we're going to talk about later, so I think we should save that one because that one's not going to go away.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on it, so.
Yeah. P5S is a game which I'll have more to say on it later.
Oh, that's not PS5. That's P5S. Oh, that's Persona 5 something, right?
Yeah, that's the reason I stuck it in there, because I thought that would be fun to mess you up a little bit. That one I'm
did
in the middle
not
of
notice until you said that.
I've got two things that I'd like to talk about. Maybe I should just choose one though, or maybe you should choose one. I got two. I've got Raya and the Last Dragon and Hood Outlaws. And I think I have just about equal amount of like short stuff to say about either of them. They won't take long. Which one do you want?
Hood Outlaws sounds more interesting to me.
Okay, Hood Outlaws is a game coming out for, I don't know if it's like console specific, but it's a game that's coming out. It kind of looks like, you know how in Far Cry there's like really good base taking. Like, they did a good job with that. Like, that's the only part of the game that's actually worth playing. Yeah, is like you can like walk in there and like, yeah, take the bases.
Taking back.
So they made a whole competitive multiplayer game about that. And it's really dope. So I just wanted to add it because I think it's a really cool idea for a game. So each map is it's a keep or a stronghold that you have to infiltrate as a thief, and you have to assassinate the guards and do everything you can to kind of get to the treasure in the middle and then sneak out with anyone seeing you. And at the same time, every other person in the competition is also trying to like kill you and steal the treasure without you. So it's a cool. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I could see myself losing some hours to that game. I could see that being a big thing. I failed to see
how that relates to Far Cry exactly, but...
Yeah, just like the base taking over. It reminded me a lot of that, of like finding the best way to take out every single guard, because there is that way to do it.
Gotcha.
It's like
so kind of like the stealth aspect of it.
Yeah, it's the stealth aspect and stuff. The only difference is that like in Far Cry, you're trying to take over the base, whereas in this game, you're just trying to take the item and get out of there.
Gotcha.
So almost, but yeah,
I would akin it more to like a Metal Gear Solid game then.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect actually. Yeah, it's a bit of a stealth. I mean, it is a stealth game where the whole idea is to get in there, grab your target, and then get out. Yeah, it's I don't know. It seems cool. It seems really, really cool, and it's got like this interesting medieval theme that I'm digging. A lot of bows and arrows, a lot of poison.
So is it kind of like, if you say medieval, does it have a Thief kind of vibes in. I don't know
I
if
never
you've ever
played
any
Thief,
of
but I'm
these
assuming
games.
yes. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's a medieval theme. There's a Robin Hood character. Like they specifically say this guy we based off of Robin Hood, and he's in the game because he's an archer, and that's one way you can take these strongholds. So yeah, no, it
Thief
seems
was
super
such
cool.
an influential game. I wouldn't be surprised if there's.
Oh, totally. It's got to have
name
some
it as an
DNA in there.
influence.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, that's all I had to say on it. All right, do you want to end here? Or did you want to hear my 2 cents on Raya and the Last Dragon, without spoilers?
Honestly, I'm getting really hungry.
I totally understand. Thanks so much for your time, Jake.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and you just put that up 2 days ago, so it won't be too old next time we record.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'll keep the thoughts in my head.